Alright, gonna go over some pieces of previous videos that I've made, including Clown Patrol APB, Clowns in Action spooked 6 countries in 10 months with one video game, May the Farce be with you, and Clowns in Action, $1 trillion transnational LARPing with real permanent consequences. Expanding upon the idea that both the C-19 operation and this fake, fraudulent theatrical war is actually part of the controlled management of the apocalypse. Expanding on an idea that Jay Dreamer's put forth in his decoding of the movie A Knock at the Cabin, where these energies that are coming into our world, they're going to come in either way, but now's your last chance to open the door. And Jay Dreamer said, we can open the door, we can let them in and control and manage the process, but if we just wait, it's like building up pressure, and if we just wait till it explodes, then it's catastrophic. But if we open the pressure release valve and let these energies in, we can do it in a controlled and managed way.
Oh, here it is right here. So, Valery Zelensky, the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, has announced that his force this morning, in the direction of Kherson, Ukrainian forces skillfully shot down 4 Russian K-52ZS helicopters during an aerial defense mission. Take that, you fucking Russians! Not only is the ghost of Kiev chicken and juice when he's not doing interviews with Anderson Poopers, and the Americans on the ground fucking you up, taking you out, blowing up your tanks. Now your helicopters are all exploded. That's a helicopter being exploded. Of course it's a helicopter being exploded, you stupid fucking idiot. Look, it's got pictures and everything. We've even got video of it. Well, hold on a second, let me see if we got video of it. The guy probably took it down by now. Oh shit, no, it's still up. It's still up. Ah, sexy times. Oh shit. Oh, listen. I'm all for the war prawns, boys. Let's get it done. Whoa, shit. Pull up. Whoa, shit's getting real. Got him. Oh shit, took a little bit of damage. Oh no. I stand with Ukraine. So hard. Get him. Oh, fuck that. Take that, you Russian Nazi. Bam. Woo, sexy time. Get him again. Here's another son of a bitch. This fucking racist Nazi Hitler Russians. Boom, got him. Ooh. Looking good. All right, 2 down. Skillful. Oh shit. It's gonna get. Oh, that one got away. Oh, there's birds in the background, so you know it's real. Oh no, he's like, oh. In from behind. You know what I'm talking about, Don Lemon. Boom. He got a little bit of that Jeffrey Toobin. Take that, you fucking sons of bitches. Stop Russia. Hashtag war. Hashtag I stand with Russia. And you know it's real because it came from the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Holy shit, that's insane. Wow. Okay, maybe those dudes did take down 7 tanks. Oh, hold on a second. What now? This is from Arma 3? Holy shit. They keep doing this. This is the second time that I know that they've done this. Holy shit. First of all, damn, Abe.
So that was a tweet from the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, showing a piece of a video game called Arma 3 and passing it off as if it is real wartime footage, and that's not the first and only time that has been done.
So I was doing me some due diligence, checking into this story about the video games being passed off as real wartime footage. You know, this Arma 3. And here's the results that I got from whatever that was that I entered into the search engine. This was from September of 2021, where the same game was used to claim there was a bombing of Afghanistan by Pakistan, or that they were supporting the Taliban, according to this other YouTube video. So this is straight from the source, Yahoo, the most credible source because it's so mainstream to normies, and they'll walk away saying, oh no, they debunked it. It was false. We'll get to that part in a minute. In September 2021, Indian fact-checking organization Boom debunked footage that claimed to show Pakistani Air Force attack. 4 months earlier, the agency France Presse debunked a video that claimed to show the conflict between Israel and Hamas. In both cases, the clips originated from Arma 3. 4 months earlier.
So that video game has been used 3 times. Once by the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian armed forces to say that this was wartime footage from the war with Russia. Another time showing a supposed Pakistani Air Force attack. And another time showing a supposed conflict between Israel and Hamas. All within the last few months. Yet Yahoo says that claim is false, while telling you that it's true. The claim is that video games are being passed off as wartime footage. The claim that they debunk as false is that that footage is actually from a war. It is doublespeak to confuse the reader who said, I heard the claim of the conspiracy theory that it's video games being passed off as wartime footage, and Yahoo News debunked it and fact-checked it and said that's false. No, what they said is false is that footage is actual wartime footage. That's not the claim. The claim is that it's incorrectly being passed off as wartime footage and it's actually from a video game. It gets into the weeds. It's just like reverse psychology, word salad. The claim should be rated as true. It is true that video game images are being passed off as wartime footage.
And this is from the most recent three-ring circus. And if you look closely, you can see that they are made out of plywood in a very specific shape, but they are simply holding wooden dowels. And then you have this guy over here with the colors that you normally associate with this kind of activity, possibly for hypnotic effect. Look closely, they're wooden. They're not even made out of metal. Pieces of wood. You see? They are jerking you around. And they are doing very good job. And you imbecilic Americans fall for it every time. Boris and Natasha is all it took to fool you. You silly American. So, back to the original image. Zoom back out a little bit here so you can see Boris and Boris. We'll even get their...
So your normie friends would pass this off and say those are Ukrainian civilians that are in training, and that's why they're using wooden cutouts that look like a gun rather than training with an actual gun that just doesn't have any bullets in it. But that doesn't explain why the Ukrainian Armed Forces Commander-in-Chief is putting up video game images and saying it's from a war, and how that's been done a few times, or what I'm about to show you.
And since the dumbass normies, or average man-bear pig, or whatever you want to call them, won't wake up when they're using video game footage that frequently to spook the cattle and make them stampede towards each other, they're resorting to throwing in stormtroopers. Maybe they'll notice that. Here comes the stormtroopers. Bring on the stormtroopers. I'm going to block it till they bring on the stormtroopers. There we go. Here's some stormtroopers. Don't want to show you any other graphic video game images or anything, so that's why I blocked it until they showed just the stormtroopers. Now we're going to zoom in on some stormtroopers.
This was in a mainstream news broadcast in Israel.
How did I rewind it too far again? Hold that thought. Zooming in on some stormtroopers.
The Small Hat News Network.
Okay, this time you know I'm not zoomed in too far or rewound too far, and we'll just watch some stormtroopers. This one here is supposed to be another one that's in flames. I'll bring that to your attention. There's his buddy. Yeah, he's still flaming. Flaming. And remember, that's just not some guy on YouTube posting something or some social media. That's their official news network, the Small Hat News Network.
Yep. Small Hat News Network, SNN.
All right, and then
Now remember, where we're going with this is a potential explanation for a staged fake pandemic and a staged fake war. And that explanation involves plasma fire.
so I kind of agree with the whole thing where they have not pushed it. I don't believe that they set up a 40-mile line of their vehicles and said, "Hey, just take those out. You know, we'll just put them all in a line for you. We'll line up our ducks for you to go Nintendo style and just go bam, 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 bam." I don't think that that's exactly how it goes. A lot of people said that they saw the video. Dex saw the video. It probably went for a couple miles on the video. I would assume that video wasn't just 30 minutes long of a drone being able to film their entire line of vehicles. I only saw like 4 or 5 pictures of this from really high up, but others saw the video of the whole line of them. I don't think they lined up 40 miles worth of vehicles, just their entire vehicle kind of fleet, for them just to go down it with one line and just, blow them out of the sky. They are doing things on purpose. We are doing things on purpose. There's something far worse going. You can have victims in a Fantastic Freddy. You can have a lot. You can have the most we've ever seen in current history.
That Fantastic Freddy stands for a false flag operation. And what he's alluding to is that they put it all out there in the theater of operations for the purpose of being blown up. Otherwise, you don't put all your ducks in a row for the enemy to come pick them off very easily in a 40-mile long convoy, which is what we saw. Hold that thought.
So this is going to be Clowns in Action Part 4, I think. I've been showing the stormtroopers on the side of the road and wartime footage along with the wooden guns. Some other questionable stuff.
Video games.
This is the first 15 seconds of Marfugal News while he plays his intro, and then he shows this image about 5 other times, and maybe those are the times when he says important stuff, or maybe just shows it a bunch of times. But then a caller calls in who goes by Bob, who says that he's a regular caller, and at some point during the 15-minute phone call, most callers don't get 15 minutes, he says that he called in a month ago and mentioned something else. Anyways, a regular caller. And they contribute to this idea, like the movie Wag the Dog, where it was a lot of theatrics. So I'm just going to snippet a couple of parts of that one phone call out after I let Marf summarize his call and what he's saying right here. When the guy seems to trail off topic and Marf gets him back on topic like it was intentional, and he could tell the guy wasn't on point and he was getting him back on point.
has worked out bugs for many years out of not a lot of those tanks built. And like with any new equipment, you're going to have bugs that you got to work out. Our military has worked out bugs for many years out of different models, and there's different upgrades.
Well, so Bob,
I mean,
again, so what Bob was saying earlier is, I don't know if you can see on the top of this picture right here, but I would assume it's something kind of like that. So there's these like things on the outside of the tanks, and on our tanks, they're like these hardened explosive plates that when hit hard enough, they do their job, they blow back, and it blows the pieces away from it. He says that the things that they use is filled with a substance that is essentially it blows it back. And what he's seeing in pictures and videos is that's not in there. Like the bags with these that are supposed to be on there are not full. Like it's just 2 plastic sheets and nothing's in it. That says to me, I'm sorry, but I'm starting to think that what is that called in a movie where it's accuracy to real life? What is that called? Dex, do you know that word I'm looking for? There's an entire department dedicated to it. As far as I know, somebody's going to get that. Either way, to making it look as real as possible. And someone is missing some pieces here on what it's supposed to look like, right?
We dealt with certain things in the military. I dealt with certain things in the military, and we have common ground in this way. And something that we're noticing with some of the Bear's armor, the reactive armor side, and what reactive armor is the counter explosive that's supposed to blow the shell backwards or take the heat off a penetration of the hull. It's looking like these bags that they have on the side of their armor are not got the stuff in them. They have, looks like 2 pieces of plastic that are making them look like they're full, but their reactive armor in this way is just a counter explosive. It's kind of like tanzanite. When you shoot tanzanite, it kind of explodes. Well, this armor that they have is the same way. It's supposed to do the same thing. Once it's penetrated, it's supposed to blow back. Well, it's looking like they're not full at all. And like our reactive armor in the United States military is mostly plate. It's actually a hardened form of an explosive, and once it penetrates, it does its job. Well, on the other side of the fence, it's not looking like it's doing the job. And we're noticing this, and other veterans are noticing the same thing that we've talked to, both of us, that we're seeing this stuff. And it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And it's kind of...
let me ask you, what do you mean by that? So why... Do you think they just don't have any, or do you think it's fake, or what do you think?
I don't really know, and maybe it's maybe the Bear has tried to fool us into thinking that what's on the side of these vehicles are what they say it is, but it doesn't look like it is. Maybe they're just trying to fool us or fool the world to say that they're toughening up their armor. And like those cages that they have on the top of some of their tanks, if you've noticed some of their cages, they're not working against our technology. And the technology that we're giving to the other side, per se, is not the newest technology that we have. And you have to understand a lot of the technology that you're seeing that are being shipped over there, we've had for a couple generations, believe it or not. I mean, some of the technology that's been sent there is stuff from back 30 years ago. And people are starting to notice that this technology is doing the same thing that it did back 30 years ago. to the same. It looks like it's having the same effect on their equipment.
It sounds to me like they're putting all their old stuff out there and it's getting wrecked by old technology, but this isn't their modern stuff. Or
no, and a lot of us are, us older veterans are thinking the same thing. Like a lot of the photos that you're showing right now, those are your T80s, T72s, T90s. Those are basically from 1969 is when the 72s came out. The T80s came out, I believe, right around 1980 or so.
you don't think that some of these leaders are part of that thing and then they get booted? That's what I'm saying. And maybe he's been it for so long, they've trusted him to do his job and to not ask questions, ask questions, but now he's pushing back. Or maybe the entire world just found out something. Maybe all of the leaders found out that the world is going to end in a dramatic end scene with an asteroid hitting Earth, and there's only going to be certain places that the scientists say that are livable. And we're going through a giant debris field of a Class 2 gas giant, and most places are going to be decimated. So the places that aren't decimated, they need to go grab that land. Who knows? Hypotheticals, right? Don't know.
So he was positing the idea that they've put all their old equipment out on a battlefield, or a theater of operations as they refer to it, for the show of staging what will be seen as a war. And maybe all the world leaders just found out something, and it has to do with the plasma fire. The fact that this is all staged and orchestrated, the idea that this was all staged and orchestrated would explain a lot. Like why no one in the world, all of the world governments and all of the world media have been in lockstep when it comes to their silence about the plasma fire. Something the likes of the plasma fire, a worldwide catastrophic event the likes of which he was describing, saying maybe all the world leaders just found out about something. Replace a debris field of a Class 2 gas giant with plasma fire and whatever is causing it, and you got a pretty good equation that adds up to what we're seeing happening around us. Something of that magnitude would explain a staged fake pandemic and a staged fake war in order to mobilize and activate these forces and keep the human cattle from stampeding when they get spooked. Just tell them it's a war, just tell them it's a pandemic. Meanwhile, we may actually be intentionally controlling the release of this energy that is causing the plasma fires, rather than letting it build up until it has its own, finds its own release point. Instead, maybe we're puncturing the magnetic field. Puncturing the magnetic field, directing that energy. Like when you touch the outside of a plasma lamp, and all those little fingers of plasma dancing around on the inside of the lamp gravitate toward your finger wherever you touch the globe on the outside. Maybe we're intentionally grounding it, directing it. See my part 2 of this video. Managing the Apocalypse, part 2, where I reference Jay Dreamer's decoding of the movie A Knock at the Cabin. And he posits the idea that we can open the door and let these energies in rather than trying to keep them out or waiting until they come in of their own accord, that we could manage the apocalypse. We can open up that pressure release valve and manage this release of this energy and direct it in order to reduce the amount of destruction. But in order to do so, we would need a cover story to tell the people, whether it's a pandemic or a war. And maybe we direct it out into rural areas, which is what I've shown with my hundreds of videos, that if this energy is directed, 99% of the time it's directed out into rural areas where it doesn't affect anything but trees and fence posts. But on some occasions, you can see that it is directed toward the 5 Secret Service vehicles that Biden lost a few months back. So, maybe we're managing the apocalypse right now. See part 2. So yes, maybe this energy has a natural phenomenon to it that they have very little control over, or maybe through certain technologies they can direct it, just like touching your hand to the outside of one of these plasma ball lamps. Also, notice the magenta color. A lot of people wonder what is with the magenta in all of our media these days. The magenta code. Something about magenta. There's your answer. So maybe the reason that they're showing us on so many levels that there's something staged in Theatrical about the war, and anyone with a couple good brain cells to rub together can see that the numbers didn't add up on the C-19 operation. Nothing about that was real. Maybe this is all part of the same controlled, managed apocalypse. And none of it is unrelated, completely unrelated from plasma fire. All of it is directly related to plasma fire. The plasma fire is part of the circumstances and the conditions of our environment which triggered such operations like the fake war and the fake pandemic.